put you in your place.
That's right. You don't
That's
belong in my circle. I'm okay with that.
the title of this
What?
episode.
Put you
I'm gonna
in
put you in your place.
Put you in your place. That's right. You've
Are
been
you
placed.
sorry? Yeah, I put you in your place. Say sorry. Or
It's
I'ma
like a
put
chess
you in your
game.
place.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, the podcast that will inspire you to live your best life.
3 best friends who have been growing, motivating, and inspiring each other.
I'm Vanila. I bring the fun.
And this is Claudia, the passionate one.
And your girl Nair, sprinkling in the creativity.
When you listen to Shut Up and Thrive, it will remind you of your chats with your own BFFs.
Join in every week as we discuss all the things that make you want to shut up and thrive.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into the conversation.
Ooh, ooh. And we are live.
Are we recording?
Welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Don't ma'am me.
It's a sign of respect.
Thank you. Hi, Naya. Hi, Claudia.
Hello, hello. Ooh, the sun's coming out. You see the sun on my face?
Mm-hmm.
Happy Sunday. Sun is in our faces.
Oh, Lord. Happy Sunday, ladies.
Yeah. So who's excited about today's topic?
Everybody is. Is
Yeah,
it
I'm always
topic?
excited.
I don't know, but I'm excited that we're chatting about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think this is a very exciting topic, but it's a
Maybe
topic
not,
we should
but
talk
it's still
about.
so like I'm starting to really look forward
Mm.
to doing our recordings on Sunday. It's like, all right, girl, it's ritual time. Get prepared. Make your tea.
Yeah,
turn on your computer.
I feel like it's very therapeutic to dive deep into these topics that we live and breathe every day, but to kind of hear you guys' perspective and then for us to let it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, so here we are today. We want to talk a little bit about forgiveness and forgiving.
Ooh.
Right? We'll get a little deep into what we think forgiveness means or what does forgive mean. And I guess we always start with the Wikipedia definition of our topics, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely. Tell us.
we have the definition to forgive as stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. Right? That's forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have forgiveness, which
Okay.
to me it's the act, right? But the definition is forgiveness in a psychological sense is the intentional and voluntary process by which one who may initially feel victimized undergoes a change in feelings and attitude regarding a given offense and overcomes negative emotions such as resentment and vengeance.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, definitely goes deep forgiveness, right? So, what does that mean to you, ladies? To forgive? Oh, when you think of forgive, you always like when somebody does you wrong, you forgive them. Is that all it is, or do we? I want you guys to go a little bit deeper, I guess, explaining forgive. We all know it's someone did me wrong, and I forget about it. I let it go. Is that forgive?
I think forgive is different for every person, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to see it a different way. But like the definition says, it's basically changing your feelings towards something, right? So going from having negative feelings towards someone or something to not necessarily having positive feelings, but just not having those negative feelings anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to first be in a position where you feel like you were wronged to even get to the point that you can forgive. And I think forgiveness to me is more to do with you, the person, because like the definition says, it's basically like a release of anger, resentment, revenge. It's a release of those feelings. So to me, it's not to say that you're excusing the person for what they did to you or whatever. I'm saying person, but it could be whatever, right? You're not excusing what they did, but it's I wouldn't even say it's understanding because I think understanding is different. I think it's more so of acknowledging whatever happened, and it's a way for you to move past it because you can't grow, you can't move on with your life if you're constantly holding on to the past. So it's a release of the past as well.
Look at you on the money. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of want to just hint at it, but the movie that I saw last night kind of helped shape my views a little bit. Not to say that, I wasn't a fan of forgiveness. Like I understand the meaning of forgiveness in terms of it's a necessary thing that we have to have in life because if we don't forgive, we're constantly going to be in this a lot of negative things
Yeah,
happen,
I
right?
get you. Definitely. Yeah. But let's get Claudia's
Okay.
opinion or,
Well, I kind of feel the same way. It's an internal process of like for me, I use the word understanding because that's me. I
is
have
this forgive or forgiveness?
it's forgiveness. I think they're both the
The
same. You can
same, yeah.
forgive someone, but until you go deeply into understanding your own feeling about what happened in the situation or the person, you're not gonna let it go, and it'll always be present. It'll be the first thing you see when that situation happens again or that person shows up. So you don't want to be stuck in that. That's the first thing I see when I see you is that negative feeling that comes out, so if you like, for me, I have to understand what happened. It's either with a person or with a situation. The understanding piece is for me. It's for me to I have to put it down into words of me understanding what happened in that situation. Then it goes into deeper dissect. Was it me that caused the situation, or was it that person's action that caused the situation? And then understanding that and then going from there, and then that's how I get to forgiveness once I am clear of the path that was taken in my understanding of whatever situation it is. That's how I know I can move on. That when I see you, it's not the first thing I notice. It's something else. I know where to put you, but it's not the first thing. It's not the first thing that's gonna happen. I'm aware, I'm conscious, you know what I'm saying? I have to have all of that to be able to move on for me not to let it happen again. Cause then, certain things happen over and over again. And then you already know how to handle it for me. I'm just like, okay, how do I handle this? Because it looks like this situation's about to be the same as last one. So this has to be better than last one, you know?
Mhm.
It's deep.
So yeah, basically forgive to me would be when you know someone did something to you, right? It's something that it's obviously something that touched you that made it hard for you to really think about forgiving that person, but realizing that what they did, whatever trying to understand the reason why they did it, maybe
Mhm.
So
putting
let
yourself
me
in their
I don't
shoes,
I,
kind
I
of.
don't mean to interrupt you, but both of you mentioned understanding. To me, I feel like you guys are explaining your process of forgiveness, like the process you go through to get to the point of forgiveness, right?
Right.
And you both mentioned that you, in a sense, feel like you need to understand to forgive. I don't think I need to understand to forgive. Like, I think understanding is its own thing. It helps the process, but I think if we know, I don't want to bring this to like a spiritual or religious point, but it kind of does go there for me because we all know that we're human, we make mistakes, we sin, and I know that everyone has a backstory. Whether I understand that backstory or not, like I understand that everyone has made choices or has been put in situations that got them to the point that they did what they did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense to me, and I think that's why I kind of still separate forgive. When you're like, all right, that person was pissed at the moment, so they did this, so said that to me. So yeah, okay, I forgive you. You were pissed at the moment. That's basically quickly understanding why they,
Did what they did.
swore to my mother or did what they did, right? And then there's forgiveness that definitely goes deeper, which is why I think you're trying to say like it. I don't. You don't have to understand what the other person did, but when it comes to forgiveness, is and you mentioned it, Naya, it's the, when you learn, you grow, and you know the real meaning of forgiveness, which it's an internal type thing, right?
Mhm.
Maybe not spiritually, but it's something that happens internally when you actually with going through the forgiveness process. And that brings again the topic of, you, like we mentioned, forgive others for things they do, basically by trying or saying, okay, I understand why you acted the way you did. I forgive you. Does that mean let it go? No, it doesn't have to mean let it go. Does it mean that what they did is okay? No, it doesn't mean it's okay. But what? You realize that we're humans, like Maya said, right? We're humans. We're going to make
Right.
mistakes. We're going to do stuff. So forgive them for what they did because you understand why they did it. Forgiveness, it goes a little deeper. And also there's the other side of it. There's this forgiveness. Forgive others and this forgiveness of self, right?
Mhm.
I know we'll talk a little bit deeper about that too.
But I think we can all agree that what forgiveness means to us, it's more of us freeing ourselves as opposed to us saying what the other person did is okay or understanding what the other person said. I think it's more than just the understanding, it's more than just that other person. Forgiveness is something that's more for you
Internal, yep.
internally, not necessarily the
Yes.
other person, which kind of leads us to forgive but don't forget, right? Which Claudia mentioned.
Yes. I'm a strong person who believes in that. I forgive
But
you and I don't hold it against you.
No
The
grudges, right?
process is gone, so I don't hold you against you. It's just learning, right? You learn. So you learn from what the past has taught you. So if someone has done something that has wronged me, that has got me to get into a position where I had to deeply think about my feelings towards that person, in that learning process, I'm learning to not let it happen again. So
Mhm.
you can't forget. It's hard to forget when someone has hurt your heart,
Feeling.
your whole soul, your whole being as a person, because it's you. It affects you. It's not affecting that person. That person deals with it their own way, but your own understanding of whatever happened in the situation. I can't forget you that you did that to me, but I can forgive you because it's something that I've worked on to move on forward, but I can never forget it. And it's not that I won't see you out in the street and help you. That's part
Well,
of
when you
forgiving.
say I never forget it, doesn't that kind of a little bit imply like, oh, I didn't forget what you did. Do you remember what you did before?
No,
So
that
is that
doesn't
really
imply that I'm gonna
forgiveness?
go up to you and say, "Hey, do you remember? Do you remember?" No,
Yeah.
it's a self knowledge. It's a self growth, and things trigger you all the time, anyways. In our lives. So it's my mind will never be able to forget it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's in there. It's the way of moving towards to the right places where I'm not feeling
Mhm.
that hurt anymore, that I could actually be around people or a situation that is uncomfortable for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember there were times where I couldn't forgive and forget. I'm like, hell no, I don't want to be in the same room. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying? I remember those times when I was younger, but I've grown from that because I've digested the situation and now I've learned what happened. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like I'm never gonna forget what she did or he did or they did, but I already learned that I'm okay with the feeling and I already threw that feeling away and I'm moving forward. It's moving forward that's the key when someone does something or
Yeah.
anything happens. You got to keep moving forward.
Well, to speak for myself, I think when I really feel like I forgave someone, I let go. I forget. I seriously do forget because yes, what like you say, what triggered and you'll remember. But I'm like, wow, I really forgot that happened. I really forgot that person did what they did. So if when I truly forgive, I truly forget. But if and I never have that mentality, forgive and never I forgive you, but I don't forget. Like because I really do just forget. That's just how I work. But
Good for
it
you that
is,
you can
it
do
is,
that.
it can be very challenging, very, very challenging to forgive someone but forgiveness is something that definitely can happen. And when it does happen, you realize that's always a lesson, right? even when depending on how challenging some situations are, but whenever you go through the process to really like learn what happened, learn the lessons, you get to release hate, you get to release all these feelings that you don't really want to hold inside. And you're growing when you do that, right? You just grow and you become a better person. Again, does it make it okay what the act was? Doesn't mean you're dismissing the act or anything like that, but I think it's a process that helps you grow and become a better person when you choose forgiveness. Go ahead,
So
Nan.
for me, okay, I can see both your points. But I also see it like, I think I lean more towards the forgive but don't forget, because in a sense I forget the feeling, right? So that letting go, like
Yes.
I don't hold on to those feelings. So I forget the feeling in a sense that I let go of the feelings. I don't have those feelings anymore, but I don't forget because it happened, but I also don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
So I think to your point, Vanilla, like you say you forget about it. To me, it's more I don't think about it because yeah, I've moved
Because you
on from
forget
it. I don't
about it.
think about it. But even when like I see the person, like if somebody did me wrong or I hear of the person, I still don't think back.
Remember?
I
Yeah.
like it's not that I don't remember. I guess I put people in their place, if that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Because back to that movie, sorry, but it really just kind of tied everything for me.
That's
I'm
good. That's
sorry.
good.
But because one of the characters said something that literally I said and I say all the time is just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to create a relationship with them. You know, there's people that have done me wrong in my life, and sometimes I feel like when I talk about a situation that was, wrong to me, some people feel like if you forget or if you move on now, that means that, oh, now you and that person can be BFFs, so you guys can
Yeah.
go back to that relationship that you had, or, start fresh and create a new relationship. Like for me is just because I forgave you or just because I'm past that situation doesn't mean I want you around.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's
It
okay.
doesn't, right. It doesn't mean that
Shit can
I'm
go
going
back to happening.
right. So I have understanding, but doesn't mean that I have to have the kind of relationship that people think I should have. Other people think, oh, because you forgive, now you guys can go back to having that, relationship. But to me, that's not the case. Like, I don't need to have that relationship with you in order to feel like I forgave you.
Right. For you, it's well enough that you've gone through your process. You did what you did, and
I
I
have that
understand, and I've
understanding.
forgiven you. And we
Right.
don't have to do more if I choose not to. If you choose to, then that's
Right.
on you.
If
Everybody's
I
different.
feel called, then yes, but I'm content with the way the
Mhm.
relationship is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And
Right. I
some
get it.
people can't understand that. Some people think like, okay, if I forgive, that means, or like your boyfriend or girlfriend cheats on you. Because I
Yeah.
forgive you doesn't mean I have to take you back.
Right.
I forgive you because I know you're human. I know you were in a situation where you made a bad choice, but I don't want to put myself in that situation because I cannot control you. I
Right.
cannot control the decisions you make. I can only control my
Mhm.
decisions. And even though I understand that was an error on your part, I just don't want to put myself in that predicament, in that exact predicament, right? We could still be friends, we could still
Mhm.
talk, but I'm not going to put myself in that exact predicament because that's not something that I don't know. I don't know if you're completely healed, if you've moved on from that, even if you say it, because only you, the person inside, can know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I
yeah. Very,
understand.
very good points.
Forgiveness and understanding is not the same. Well, could be the same at certain situations. So if you forgive someone and you understand the situation that happened, is it the same? That's kind of I don't
I
know.
think when you understand what happened, you mean like when you understand what they did to you
Yeah, if you understand the
or
situation that
why they did to
happened,
you.
can is it the same as forgiving and understanding? I think it's the same, but at the outcome and the action afterward could be different from anyone.
Yeah,
So
because it
like
all depends
me
on
and
the type of
Nair was
person
saying,
you are, right?
yeah. So
I
like
think
we understand,
forgiveness
but
I think forgiveness can come easier than understanding.
Yeah, that one's the hardest.
I think there's no forgiveness if there's no understanding.
Yeah.
I don't agree though.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think once you understand the human experience, once you understand humans, like I mentioned before, that people make choices based on the life they've lived and what got there's
We do.
series of
We all do.
events that get us to the point that we get to.
Mhm.
You know, everyone experiences trauma, right?
Right.
On some level or another. It could be very minor, right? Throughout your life, you're going to experience trauma. People who commit horrible crimes, people who do bad things to other people, if you trace back, there had to have been traumatic experiences for them to get to that point. You may not know what those are, right?
Mhm.
But no one can just have this beautiful life and then decide to murder someone, for instance.
I don't know, unless it's some genetic crazy
But even
gene they possess.
even our genes
There's
change
traumas in there.
based, yes.
Yeah, but that's
So,
deeper now. Let's stick
but
to forgiving and forgiveness.
right,
You'll go,
but
you
if
get
you,
deep, girl. You get
I'm
deep.
going deep because forgiveness does go deep,
It
girl. That's
does.
what I'm trying to say.
So yeah, I
if
know
you
definitely
have,
it goes deep, but so we don't really get any deeper with that whole trauma and the
but
genes
it's
and the
part of
spirituality.
it though.
We can okay. So let's go back to forgiveness as far as I guess. What do you think is harder to do? To forgive others for doing something to you, or to forgive yourself? What do you think is
Ooh.
harder to do? Forgive Claudia or forgive Nair? I don't know if you understand my question.
No, I understand your
Okay.
question, but it's really hard to just blanket say one or the other because it depends what we're talking about. Because I
But
feel like
in
certain things are
general, not like just basically, not because of the action, like whatever caused the problem, not what was,
but to me, I think
but
forgiveness
just
depends on okay, you know how I said I think it's easier to forgive, not easier, but I
mhm,
think forgiveness comes first for me because I'm at the point that I understand that there's good and bad in the world, that I understand that both good and bad happen because of other things that have happened to us in the past.
Right.
So then I can forgive
Mhm.
because forgive is me releasing the anger, releasing, you know, the resentment. That's for me. That's why I can forgive even before I understand, because I know forgiveness is not about the other person.
Mhm.
I forgive to release those emotions from me. So then to really like see that person as someone that is a human in my eyes, that's where the understanding comes in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So the
so it
understanding
seems
is
like
more
we
for
all
the other
agree on
person.
it. It's just we're not agreeing what comes
Our
before.
process is different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how we
But in
process it.
terms of is it easier to forgive myself or
Forgive
others? I
someone.
think, to be honest, at this point in my life, I think it's easier to forgive myself
Good.
because I am with myself 24/7 and and I've grown to understand myself so I can get to that understanding quicker, if that makes sense, right? For other people, see, I don't know. See, now you got me thinking,
it's
girl.
good. Thinking is good.
I
No,
don't
I
know
agree.
which
Like
one.
we know it's hard to forgive someone, right? When they do us
Uh,
bad. But because you said we're at a point of our life that we understand better what forgiveness is or how to forgive ourselves, that it kind of makes it easier now to forgive someone or not even have to be in a situation where you need to forgive anyone, right?
Right.
well, you need to forgive for yourself. You're
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I'm
forgiving
saying. So
not for the other
we're at
person.
the process that, because we understand forgiveness, which is more of an internal thing, it makes it so easy to forgive others or maybe not even think we're at a point that we need to forgive. Rather just like, oh, I know. But
Because we have that understanding
yeah,
that
let it
the
go.
forgiveness automatically comes with it.
Hmm.
So how about for you? Do you think it's easier to forgive yourself or others? Or which one can you do
I
faster?
think it's which one can I do faster? I really don't know. I really don't know. Do I forgive myself fast? I think so. Do I forgive others fast? Yes, I do. I do. I forgive others pretty fast. So, like I was trying to say, it's not that I forgive them. I'm just like, oh, whatever, I know it's not okay, or I decide, you know what, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like you say, Claudia mentioned, I'll put you in your place because I know what you did, but I know that it wasn't okay what you did. But am I letting it control my life? Am I letting it bother me? Is it letting me see you in the street and treat you different? No,
Oh, no.
not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
definitely at
but
that
would
point.
you go back to having the same relationship with that person? Could you
No,
ever
I do
see
understand
yourself do
also
it?
putting them, I understand letting go of people who don't serve you well. So it's never going back to having the same relationship, especially if they do you really wrong. It's
Mhm.
like you and Claudia both mentioned, you know how to let things go and put people in their place, right?
I think it's
Le-
harder for
Leave
you to
them where
put
they
people
were.
in their
Or
place,
left
to be
you.
honest.
You are where you are. Yes, I do forgive you with that. You did what you did. You had your reasons. Do I want to understand your reasons? Sometimes no, I don't want to understand your reason. But is it okay because you did it because you had your own reasons to do it? Yeah, that's okay for you. So that's now on you to go and like deal with that. But do I need you to understand what you did? Do I need you to come and say what I did was wrong for me to forgive you? No, you know. So it's easy for me to do that, and it's the same. It's easy for me to be like in a situation where I don't forgive myself. For some people, believe me, it's very very hard for them to forgive themselves. Sometimes I try to think of a situation, but why? We're humans. It's a process of learning. You grow when you know you did something that didn't work good. You said something to your children that wasn't well, or your husband or your mom, but like forgiveness is realizing that and understanding that you learned from whatever happened. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's categories to forgiveness. There's knowing the action you did had a cause, right? Something happened to make you act the way you did, or say what you said, or do whatever. So then there's still, for the process of forgiveness, is okay. So me knowing, realizing what I did, what was wrong about it, is what did I learn from that? Why
Yeah.
did I do that? Like, I think if you don't, sometimes you do something bad and you're like, why did I do it? Like I just said, trauma, family, anger, all that stuff. So really going to inside and realize why you did what you did, and then be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do different. I'm going to forgive myself and learn from it and realize this is the new action, the new plan. And this, you know what I mean? Forgiveness gets a little bit deeper because, yeah, there's steps to it. But are you really forgiving yourself if you don't go through all those steps? No, I don't think so.
So that's your process, right? You go deep and try to understand, and then you forgive when it comes to yourself. That's
I
not the
try
same
to
for
go
other
deep.
people?
No, I think some people just really stuck in like when they do wrong, they get so angry, they don't even stop to say, why did I do that? There's no why did I do that. They automatically are stuck like, oh, I'm so stupid. Like they don't really like, why did you act so stupid?
Do you
Really
think
think about
maybe
it.
it's the outside, the society kind of shapes people in terms of, not shapes, but influences people when it comes to forgiving themselves? Like they can't forgive themselves because of how they look to the outside world,
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah,
they
and
think,
sometimes the outside world is like at you like, oh, that's unforgivable. Like you can't. So because you hear people say that, or the outside world, and you're like, really, I can't forgive myself because the society says that's unforgivable, right?
which brings us to the point of, are some things just not forgivable, or is everything forgivable?
I think everyone is worthy of forgiveness because,
Everyone,
yeah, and it's not because of the movie.
rapists,
It's not because of the
molesters,
movie. Everyone
murderers.
forgives forgiveness because if one person is not worthy of forgiving, then no one is. Then
Yes,
no one
that
truly
movie
is.
really put things into perspective for me, and that will be the part two to this conversation. Is, I know we keep saying movie, 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 and we're not gonna say it here. We'll keep it like a teaser for part two of forgiveness. But yeah, that movie kind of makes you see that basically we're all God's children. If you're a spiritual person, then you have to believe that we are we are all God's children. But the thing is people say that all the time. We hear that all the time, right? But do we really know what that means? Do we really
But to
know
be
what
God's
to be
children?
God's children? And you might think that you're a child of God, but is a rapist a child of God? And if
course.
that's God's child, then why would God make that person do that?
Naila is going deep into like deep
But
stuff.
but
Yeah, like I said, like
forgiveness is
everyone's
deep,
worthy.
girl.
Everyone's worthy of forgiveness. It's hard. It's very hard. But yeah, everyone's worthy of forgiveness just because even Mother Nature, the universe is going to do what it has to do with
True.
who we are and what we are. So who are we, the little beings with, yes, great, powerful energy souls that we are and all that good stuff. But who are we to judge, maybe in a way, if that person's worthy of being forgiven?
Right.
Because humans make mistakes and we don't know what caused them to do what they did.
Right.
So, Claudia, do you think everyone deserves forgiveness, or
Are there certain things that we just cannot
I mean, if
forgive?
it's hard for you, just say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hell no.
No, it's definitely, again, it's the forgiveness is for you.
right.
So
I think that's the
you,
key.
that's the key. Like if you go through the process and forgive and you are okay with what happened or what anyone does in the world, like you have to have a sense of calming to be able to move it. But again, it's a choice if you want that specific thing, that specific environment, that specific person in your world. I am very, very strongly on that. You do not belong in my world. If you've done harm to me and I have to keep
In your
my
world, like your life, right?
my
Not,
life, that's
oh,
my
okay.
world. It's
Your
my world. The world
everyday.
is ours, but it's a bubble that belongs to me. And those people that are there are the people that deserve to be there. If someone is wrongdoing and is not in the same path as I and believes in the systems of acts of everything that we do as God's children, that child does not belong with me. You know what I'm saying? You have your own circle. That type of things that you could do with like your friends. We have a circle of friends who we do things with that we'll never do with other ones. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't match. And everyone has a place. Everyone has a place and a thing that can be beneficial to you. And if it's not beneficial to you, it should not be with you. That is my choice. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
think that we
So,
definitely we definitely understood that
yeah,
it's your choice to forgive someone, but realizing that what they did, knowing that what they did doesn't, you forgiving them doesn't mean it's okay, right?
yeah, they don't
The
have to be
mistake, I'm
on
just
my
talking about the
level.
mistake. It doesn't
Yeah,
make, when you, to me, forgiving someone doesn't mean you believe the mistake was fine and let's go back to being who we were. It's just really just letting it go in a way.
yeah,
So if someone was, do you find it hard to forgive others even if they don't do something to you? But let's say they did something to your son or they did something to your mama. Do you have a hard time forgiving that? Do you even find yourself in the position that you feel like you need to forgive that person, or you don't forgive that person, or you know
yeah,
that it wasn't
definitely.
your, that wasn't your, not your problem, that wasn't your situation, right? Let's say I hurt Naya's feeling. Are you like, oh, I don't forgive Vanilla for hurting Naya's feelings? Or you kind of know, oh, you know what? It's not my situation.
I kind of know it's not my situation, but at the same time, I am a human and I have feelings. So that feeling is going to come of you if I agree. I have to agree with one. Which side do I agree with? I could have agreed with you and thought that whatever you said was okay. Now you deserved it. You know what I'm saying? And that depends on my feelings because you can't tell someone what to feel, and everybody's going to feel different for situations. So I'm going to stand up. I'm always going to stand up for something that I believe is wrong, and that anybody's situation is that I would step up for. So if you were bullying, now, yeah, damn right, no, girl, I'm gonna say something to you and let you know you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I've always been like that, and like I
But
think of
again, that's still your feelings and your opinions, because I
Mm,
could be bullying Nair because she
did something to you. So
bullied Vado,
that's
you know?
yeah, that's an interesting situation because okay, you have two friends that are going at it. And I'm pretty sure we've been in situations where you have two friends that Everybody's friends.
all
But
the
now,
time.
right, but now you have two friends that are at odds with each other, that are fighting with each other. Do you take a side because you agree with one person, or you agree and you don't agree with the other person? Do you, okay, let's say two friends break up, they're not friends anymore, and they're like, well, because we're not friends, you can't be friends with that person. Do you feel like you remain friends with both? Like, how do you move in that
A
situation?
younger teenage girl would say, "You can't be friends with her." Like,
Right. No, I
like
understand, but
but the woman in me now is everyone has a place. So I know that if we broke up, I can't be together with both of you in the same room. I
yeah.
can't do the same thing. Like my respect to you is always going to be as individuals. I'm not going to
So you
take,
care a lot about everybody's feelings versus like, I'm sorry, Claudia, your problem is with Nair,
yeah,
so you
You deal with it.
you deal
yeah,
with it. But meaning, let's say
yeah.
we have to all be in the same room.
I would never
Who you
You
gonna
be.
hang
better,
out with?
Claudia, you don't have a problem with me. I don't care that Nair's in the room. You better be here because you don't got a problem with me. You
But what
know?
if I'm like, you better hang with me because you don't got a problem with me?
And then you better
Well,
hang
I'm
with
going to
Claudia
tell
because
you
you don't got
girls
a
that
problem
I'm
with
going to
me.
hang with whoever I want to
Everybody's
hang
hanging with
with.
everybody. You can deal with that problem. Something when we're together, it's nobody has a problem with anybody.
Yeah,
That's forgiving. That's
yeah.
knowing where to
Right.
put that person,
Put
knowing
your
your
feelings where it
situations, being
belongs.
grown up about it.
Exactly. Put your feelings where it belongs. Not when you're in an environment, you should always watch your feelings because could lead to bad choices if it could be lead to uncomfort. I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I've been in a situation where I've been uncomfortable just to make other people comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I I've had
Oh, well, I
very
think we
close
all do that.
friends
Even in
who,
a simple relationship with like a husband, sometimes it's like, I'm
yeah,
so mad at you. But
Right. You
right
show
now
put it
face.
it's the
aside.
front. You gotta be civil. You have to be, have education like your parents taught you,
And
because the
Yeah,
other
two,
person has nothing to do with it.
it's important to understand that just because you choose to forgive someone, that automatically like the anger and resentment is gone. Like, no,
Yeah,
it takes
definitely.
time.
okay.
Like, time is a huge factor in getting to a point where you're quote unquote free of the anger, because time really does heal in a sense. And I'm not saying 100% you rely on time to get over whatever you're dealing with. There's other work
Mm-mm.
that needs to go into that, but time distances you from the past. So as you're moving forward in life, things that have happened to you stay in your past. So time
Yeah,
does
so
help
your
with that.
action needs to be, you need to be on that action of moving
Right.
forward, not
There's
stuck
other work.
in
Yeah, there's
that
other work you have
situation.
to do.
Exactly. So it all depends on that because this whole conversation, for some reason, because I knew it was coming up, has brought up old feelings of
Mm.
a good friend of mine. Literally, I went to bat for her, like me by myself in a room with bunch of girls, me backing her up, and then us falling apart like a couple of years afterwards. You know what I'm saying? I've forgiven her. I've moved on from the situation, but that situation still affects me at some point because that's what I came to realization. I'm like, I don't hate her. I wish her all of the best for her.
Mhm.
I do miss my childhood friend. You know what I'm saying? But I'm okay without her. And that's the part where I was like, oh shit. Like I really said it to myself. I'm okay without her. You know what I'm saying? For a long time, I hadn't said that to me. It was always a sore
Like
conversation
a
when it's brought
wound.
up. So what happened? So what happened? You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So and that always, but then I'm like, oh shit, I am okay
It's
without her.
perfect.
You
You
know
Yeah.
what I'm
grew,
saying?
you learned, and you healed. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
So
That's what
it
forgiveness
takes
is.
time. It takes years because this like 16 years old situation that it like a little thing like this conversation triggered the fact that I still had something in there that was kind of bothering me. And then really in the end, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Because I saw her
You
and I was
realize it's no longer
yeah,
bothering
that
you.
feeling was like, "Oh, shit, I am okay without her." Like, "Okay, alright, okay, cool, 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 cool." You know? So it takes time and you have to go through the
Bless you,
process.
Nair.
Thank you. I put myself on mute, and then
You still saw
it
you.
said, "Are you talking? Because your mic is off." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm trying to sneeze in private."
I know you're on mute, but I'm still like, bless you, Nair,
Yeah.
right? Like, girl.
Yes, forgiveness is a very Deep conversation.
Yeah. Vanila's over here telling me not to go deep. Girl, how can you
No,
talk
because
about
because
forgiveness
we
without
have
going
because
deep?
we want to stick. So I mean, we want to stick to forgive and forgiveness, forgiving others, forgiving ourselves.
Yeah.
Which one is harder than the other? What does it really mean to forgive? What does it really mean for self forgiveness? So, do you know people in your life that don't allow themselves to forgive themselves, or maybe you? Do you think you allow yourself, for example, to make a mistake? Do you allow yourself to make mistakes because you know, like it might may be a mistake, but it's a learning process? Or you rigid, like, oh
I
my God, I could never
yeah,
because
I try not to make mistakes.
so
But
you're
I
human, so
right,
shit
but I
happens.
know right. So I have the understanding that regardless of how old I am or how much I grow or how much I think I know, I'm going to make mistakes. So I already have that understanding. I already know that if I quote unquote make a bad choice or do something that hurts someone else, I know that I'm a good person. And if that does happen, it's not intentional. So I have that understanding. But what was your question again?
Just basically, like, do you allow yourself to make a mistake, even if it's not hurting
Yeah.
someone else, but
hmm
maybe something that might not be good to you? Like, like
So
I shouldn't
I
mess with that, but I'm gonna do it anyways, and without having to punish yourself for it.
yeah, so if I know some okay, how do I explain this? It's not about allowing myself to make mistakes. I try to make the best decision for the situation that I'm in. I don't go into something thinking, "Oh, this might be a mistake. It's okay if it's a mistake." I go to something thinking I'm going to do my
Never,
best.
never, even little small things like making the wrong choice of
Maybe in the
something to eat
definitely in the
or
past. Yeah, yeah,
drink.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I understand that if I eat something that's quote unquote bad for me, I know that I'm not doing that every day. Okay, if we want to talk about food, I feel like no, I
That's
feel
the
like
best topic.
no, I feel like if I'm eating a dessert, an ice cream, I'm not making a bad choice because it's something I enjoy.
Hmm.
Okay, you might look at it, well, ice cream's not good for you. It's full of sugar. But I know there are things that I do with myself that little bit of sugar is not going to have a dramatic effect on me. Do I stop breathing because there's toxins in the air? You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Sorry, I asked.
no,
Jeez.
no. I don't mean it like that, but
Don't come to a Leo like that.
right, no, but
For
I
real.
I know the direction you're trying to go. Like,
Yeah.
do you give yourself the freedom to do things
Make
even though they
mistakes.
might not be the best choices or there might be some negativity to it, you
Hmm.
know? I cannot live
Mhm.
my life like that because then every choice I make, there's always going to be good and bad to it, no matter
Mhm.
what. Because if I choose to eat only healthy food every day nonstop, I'm going to be miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Even though
So
that
you do
healthy
allow
food
yourself. You do allow yourself to make a mistake and
it's
forgive
not a
yourself.
mistake. I don't look at it as a mistake. So
Okay,
maybe
not a
that's the
mistake,
thing.
Leo. Like what I said, mistake just being
You
the
gotta
the
find
the
the right word,
action, right? The
Vanilla.
action.
It's
Girl,
not a
get it
mistake. It's a
right.
It's a
choice.
mistake if you're gonna have some ice cream
It's
and
not a
you're
mistake.
lactose intolerant. You made a mistake. Yes, you did.
No, you made a choice. You knew it was
I'm
gonna
just
happen.
saying, a wrong
You
choice
made
is
a
a mistake.
choice and you're willing to deal with the consequences. So maybe
Exactly.
they're not mistakes, like you said, they're lessons.
Uh-huh.
I'm willing to take the consequence, whether it's negative or positive,
Mhm.
right? I think I'm at the point in my life, I would hope most of us are at the point in our lives that we understand that choices are going to have good and bad, and we have to know how to handle
No.
the bad and not feel like, oh my God, I can't believe
I'm gonna kick myself in the ass tomorrow for this. No, let
or
it
be
happen.
like, oh my God, I can't believe I have high blood pressure, but all I eat is food
Like
that's
that
bad for me. Like
voice.
I
Right?
no, like I can't act like I didn't know this was a possibility. So
Yeah.
some people do
Some
though. Some
But
people
see,
people
do.
exactly. My point is, some
they
people do like they are so hard on themselves, even though
No.
they don't want to be miserable. But you doing that is really going to make you sick, or it's really not good for you. You really shouldn't do that. But at the moment, it makes them so happy they will do it, and then tomorrow they're kicking
they
themselves
regret
in the
it
ass for it. They regret it bad.
and then they don't forgive themselves for doing it.
Yeah.
And you're stuck in the cycle
It's,
because you're gonna
yeah.
make that same decision again. So that's
Hmm.
going within, understanding why you're making those decisions, understanding what your thoughts are on those things,
Mm-hmm.
and then moving on from it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's deep, 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 deep,
Yep,
deep.
it is deep. I think we can agree that we think forgiveness fosters all of those three things, right? The process where you're growing by learning from what it
Well,
is that
first
you did.
understanding, well, not understanding, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's understand. When you understand what it is you did,
That's
realizing what you
awesome.
did wasn't the best choice, you grow, right? You grow from there. And when you're growing, you're able to understand and learn, right? When you understand, you actually learn why certain things happen, why you did certain things, and then you can forgive yourself. You heal, you feel better. You forgive that friend, you let it go, you heal. Are you a forgiving person?
I mean, do I see myself as a forgiving person? Is that what
I'm
you're
a very
asking?
forgiving person. I'm a very forgiving person. Like I can say that. Are you a little? Very? Not so much?
Forgiveness is a part of my life, yes. But
Very forgiving.
what I say when I think of myself that I'm a forgiving person, I think when you call yourself a certain characteristics, you almost make it seem like it's easy for you to do that thing.
That's what I mean. Is it easy?
It's
for
not.
you
I
to
don't
do?
think it's easy because every situation is different. I mean,
Well, for me it is.
things,
For me it's easy.
okay,
And
that's you.
sometimes I even ask myself, but why? Like that what
Right.
that person did deserves
bad.
bad karma. But I'm like,
Yeah,
forgive
I ask
you.
myself too, why does she forgive so easily? But
There
I
you
let
go.
her
See,
go.
Claudia
I
agrees
let you
that I
for
forgive
it. You know what I'm
fast.
saying?
Yeah,
I
to
let you
me, I
for
don't.
it.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not a very
I'm.
forgiving person, but I do forgive, but I'm not a very
Yeah.
forgiving person.
We have to
Me-
forgive to move on. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
I am a forgiving person.
I think I am forgiving, but every situation is different for me, and
Right.
certain things take a
And you have to
little
overanalyze
longer.
every situation. Just answer my question quickly. Are you a forgiving person?
Yes or no, Nair? No.
Or medium? You can have the medium.
I'm medium with everything. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like
You
I
are
feel
medium,
like
yeah.
I feel like you're one spectrum and Claudia's another spectrum. Like
Well, we sure are.
when we talk about different topics, and I'm usually somewhere in the middle because that's me. Like
This is how
I
you do it.
honestly can see both sides, and when it comes to forgiving certain things, yeah, I'll forgive.
And I think that makes
easily.
it very easy to forgive when you can see both sides.
Right, but certain things take,
takes
because remember,
time. It's a process.
forgiveness is the release of the anger and
You.
resentment.
Mhm.
Working through feelings is not easy. Maybe for you it is easy to work through feelings. That's why you can say you can forgive quickly, but it takes time for certain things for me to work through feelings. So maybe I'm not a quote unquote forgiving person. I do forgive,
Right.
and ultimately the end result for me will always be forgiveness. Always.
Cool.
But it might take some time to get there.
Claudia's
for
like, it
certain
might
things.
take some decades, like 20 years.
16
like
years.
This conversation just triggered forgiveness
Well,
from 20
it
years
takes
ago.
time.
Right?
So that
It's
wouldn't make you
me.
a forgiven person to me.
Right. That's why I
even though
said,
you
like,
forgive, it wouldn't.
when I think of myself and characteristics of myself, the first thing that comes to mind for me, that's not one of the first things that comes to mind. Like, oh, I'm a very forgiving person. No, I'm a loving person. I'm a caring person. I'm a generous person.
I'm a
You
just
know,
person,
yes,
which
I'm an understanding person. But to say I'm a forgiving person, I will get there, but I'm not.
Me and Nair is on the same boat. We'll get there.
You're a little bit more exaggerated, Claudia.
Claudia's
To
a
a
little, yeah.
decade.
I mean, I
2
feel her,
decades.
but yeah, that's a little much.
So Claudia got to get the work done until she's happy with it. When the work is done with herself, then she can let it go. But I don't cause harm in the mean of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't cross my path.
Claudia's one to remove herself. Like,
Yes.
you'll definitely
Yeah.
remove
Oh,
yourself.
that can bring up a thing. When you remove yourself, are you working on forgiving?
Yeah, it's part of forgiving. You have to be out of the situation to see yourself, your need. What
Or
it's
not
'cause
even you're
that,
just for yourself, for others,
yeah,
though,
it's
like in
you.
forgiving others. When you
Right,
remove
but that
yourself from the
forgiveness is
situation.
for you, Vanilla. You have to forgive that feeling. Like, you got
In
to
you.
get that feeling out in you, and then you could see that person. Because
Yeah, but
after
my
that
question was, when you
situation-
remove yourself, are you
Yes, I'm
working
working
on
on
the
it.
process?
Yes, definitely. It's a process.
Question
You
for
can't
Vanilla.
forget.
Yep.
Question for Vanilla, because do you think in order to forgive another person, they need to know that you forgive them?
Oh no, that's on them.
But
No.
you made it seem like removing yourself from a situation.
I'm thinking removing as like I forgot about it. I'm out of there. I got nothing to do with it. I'm not dealing with it. That's what I
No,
thought.
remove like
Removing yourself from that person or that situation
yeah.
is not revisiting that situation
No,
until
that's
you are comfortable
growing and
with
moving on.
yourself around that person or that situation. Because
That's right.
growth is with you. You're not growing with them. There's like everybody's gonna see it differently, but my perspective of forgiving someone is it's a growth for me. And in the end process, it always turns out that you are not part of my daily life, my daily circle, my daily friend, my daily situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
removing me from the harm, because that's the lesson I'm learning through the process, that people are going to hurt you. And there's certain things that can be, oh, I'll see you here, hi girl, how you doing, oh hey man, this, oh, I can be in this situation, I know how to handle it, I'm okay. But there's certain things that you're never going to be okay with, and it's okay for that situation to never be in your life again, and it's okay for that person to never be in your life again. I'm okay with that. That has to be within you. Some people are not. Some people have to say, I forgive you now. You have to be in their face to tell them, remind them of what they've done to you, because I know there is people out
No,
there. 'cause
that's
I've
not
seen it.
forgiveness. But
That's
my
not
question,
forgiveness.
yeah, but my question was more like, does the other person need to know that you forgave them in order for you to feel like
You've forgiven
forgiveness
them.
has taken place?
No, but I think the person knows it, because if they do approach me, they'll know if I forgave you or not by my actions, by what I do,
I don't
or what
think
I
that's
say.
true, because you could just be showing face, but
No,
behind their
no.
back, you
When it
could
comes to
be.
when the action is something that needs to be forgiven, don't show. There's not going to be no show face with me. I do forgive super fast, like literally forgive. That maybe that's what we'll call it. It's easy for you to be like, oh, that person did that to you, but you guys are still chilling together or whatever. Because yeah, I did forgive them. So I do allow them. If I forgive you for doing something crazy to me, I don't remove myself from the situation. If the situation where you're going to be around me, I'm not gonna put on a face. You can seriously be in there with me. You know what I mean? And that can be with a family member. It's not just be a friend or an ex-boyfriend. It could be with a family member. You did something crazy, but doesn't mean I never want to be in the same living room with you. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean
Well,
I don't
some
talk and
things to me, if you do a horrible crime, I don't want to be in the same room with you.
yeah,
I
that's
could forgive you,
different.
but it's still part of forgiveness.
Mhm.
Definitely. That's what
I'm
I'm
not
saying. I
gonna be in the
forgive.
same room with you. I think
Yeah.
that's what Claudia's saying too, is like certain people
I
I
think
will
I
remove
forgive fast,
intentionally.
but I don't forgive everything. It's the
Ooh,
flaw
that's
in human.
different.
That's the flaw in human me. That's a horrible crime. I don't know if I can forgive you. I really, when I watched the movie and I was like, I really don't think I would be able to say I forgive. I really, it wouldn't, because that would be the showing face that I don't want, that I'm not capable of
Because
doing.
you think forgiveness, you're thinking that once
Forgiveness
you.
is internal. Forgiveness is
No,
good
I
for
know, but
you.
you're thinking about what the outcome. You're equating forgiveness to the outcome. Like Claudia said, I can forgive you, but I could never want to be in the same room with you again.
Hmm.
I don't hold any resentment to you. I don't hate you. I've released anger. I've
Hmm.
released resentment of that situation. I've moved on with my life, but I really don't care to see your face again.
And that's where I come in and say, then you really didn't release resentment, or
Why not?
because that's a simple feeling to like to be uncomfortable around
I'm
someone.
not
No,
saying I'm
no, no. We didn't
uncomfortable.
say we
I'm
were
not saying comfortable.
uncomfortable.
I'm just saying I don't have a desire,
Oh
Liar.
yeah,
right?
desire.
A
Obviously, we don't have a
desire.
desire, but
I
I
don't
won't remove
have a
myself from a
need.
room
Oh no,
because
I'm
the
not gonna do
person I
that.
don't like is there.
But I'm saying like I
I
won't
don't not go
intentionally.
someplace because the person that did wrong is there. Like that, that won't happen. I will be where I need to be. I will do what I need to do. I will visit Claudia, even though so and so is there, because even if I don't forgive you, right, for doing something crazy, I guess I accept what forgiveness is for myself, and I allow myself to be in situations. I allow myself to not forgive. I forgive myself for not forgiving you for doing a horrible crime. I don't know nobody who's done horrible crimes or well, maybe I should, but like I said, because I forgive fast, I don't think I know anybody who's done like a horrible crime. Close. But I also do, okay, going back to, I think removing yourself, maybe I'm still stuck on that removing word from you totally, like, don't show your face in front of me. That to me does, it means that forgiveness still needs to, there's still healing there that needs to be done.
Yeah, okay, maybe I said it wrong. I mean like to me it's the relationship, right? I forgive you, but I don't need to have a relationship with you. I don't need to.
It's not okay what you did. It won't,
Right. The
yeah.
That's
action
the
is forget
removal.
not the action is forgiven. The feelings are, I've worked through the feelings. I've overcome those feelings. I've moved on from those feelings, but it doesn't take away the situation. It doesn't put things back to how things were,
Perfect.
right?
Yeah. It doesn't allow things to happen now because
It's like a broken
I
glass. It
understand.
literally is. Like you break a glass, you
It,
can glue it
period.
back
It doesn't
together.
make it
It's
okay.
not the same.
Not, yeah.
Exactly. You know, that's the removing we're talking about. Not, oh my God, I'm not going to Vanilla. I could again, I'll say it at 17. I would have been the one. I'm not going. I'm not going. You know what I'm saying?
She
But I'm
didn't say sorry. That's what we would
right.
say back then.
Like
She hasn't said
really?
when we
Okay.
are, and it's funny because when we're really, really young, you get so mad at your friend for doing something mean. I don't know, steal your boyfriend or take your stuff. But I'll never forgive the person. But your friend with time will be like, you know what? I'm so sorry. All right, girl, I forgive you.
Right.
You said sorry. When we're young and we don't have so much in our mind that we're thinking about
Mhm.
it was simple, something simple to be like, whether they're really sorry or not from their heart, but they said sorry to you, it was enough for you to be like, all right, let's move on.
And
And
that's
some
an
people that's not enough.
interesting
The
point
older we
because
get, the more that's not enough because
but
we're like,
that's an
no, now actions have consequences. But when
right,
we're
but
young and free, we know that
that's an
sometimes
interesting point you bring up with saying sorry because we teach our children,
we'll
go say
apologize.
sorry, but are we really teaching them forgiveness?
Yeah.
Because sorry doesn't fix it. And as you
Mhm.
grow up, that's what we start to believe, right? You
Yeah.
said sorry, but sorry doesn't fix it. But why don't we teach our kids that from the beginning? We literally
Well,
will
we
say,
kind of do in a way because we're like, yeah, but sorry doesn't fix it. Now, please
I
go
don't, I
back
can't
there.
say
And
I
I
can't
do that a
say
lot. Like,
I
sorry
do.
doesn't make it better. Sorry doesn't fix it. Like, you really need to believe
But
it.
have you ever been like, okay, a child hits another child or takes
Oh,
a child's toy and they start crying? Go say sorry. Go say sorry to your brother. Go say sorry to your sister. And
because
then
it's not okay.
because it's
Right?
not okay, but I feel like we're teaching them half of what they need to learn in terms of like forgiveness. Because sorry is not forgiveness.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah, because some kids,
you
I remember my nephew, he would not say sorry. He wouldn't. He would like,
or when they say sorry, they're like sorry. And you're like,
yeah.
you're not sorry. You're
That's a
not
good
sorry.
opportunity to teach them, like, but why? Because we're not teaching them to actually what forgiveness actually means, right? Yeah,
That's what I mean. So
yeah,
don't just tell your kids, go say sorry. Explain, you did something that hurt that person and you need to say sorry, yes,
yeah.
but you need to say it and really mean it in terms of what you did was wrong and you're apologizing for that and you're basically telling that person, I'm never going to do this to you again. And then that we need to teach the quote unquote victim that if
Hmm.
someone says sorry to you or not, it's
How
for
do you
you.
feel?
How do you
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
about it? And I'm mad, I'm angry. That's not right. Okay, yes, those feelings are valid. Those feelings are correct, but let's work through it. Let's not get stuck in those feelings. People are going to do things to you, not because of you, not because of something you did, but because they're going through something that you know what I mean?
And maybe
So,
that's why when we get older and older and we really, learn about life, it's hard to forgive ourselves and others because when we're young, we're taught to say sorry. Okay, good. She said sorry. Now go back to playing, right? He said sorry, so everything's okay now. Well, when you grow up, you're like, no, it isn't. Sorry doesn't
right.
fix
So
it,
we have to
Yeah.
relearn that all over again.
And
Yeah,
maybe
it
that's why
comes with
it's
the
can be hard,
conversation.
harder for some than others, but that's probably why it can be so hard.
Yeah, depending on the age of your kids, you definitely have to help them out with that situation because anybody could say sorry And if it's a 2-year-old, the kid's gonna say sorry and generally not know how to explain that feeling. But as they get older, it's
Hmm.
our jobs to explain to them why what they did was wrong. Do they understand what they
Yeah.
did was wrong? Do they agree with what they did was wrong and why
So
and
do they
whatnot?
know
You know
what
what I'm
sorry
saying? Do
means,
they
right?
know
Yeah.
exactly what's going on, that that kid is crying, and at the same time the other parent should be doing the same thing. Do you understand why you're crying? It's again, it's deeper and deeper in understanding feelings, where we're coming to a point where we're digesting the whole situation. And that's how I process a lot of things, because I have to literally understand why someone said what they said and the way they said it. I literally digest everything. And then after I figured that out for myself, that I'm okay with whatever it was and what happened, that's when I take action. If it's not an uncomfortable feeling, I'm taking action. I'm going to you and be like, hey, you said this and this and this. It did not sit well with me and it's really bothering me. That's my feeling. So you know why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. And if it really wasn't, you get a chance to explain it. And if it's okay with me and be like, oh, it really was something silly, Claudia, like, okay, let it go. Completely forget about it. Like I moved on. You know what I'm saying? And no, I know what happened. I understand it. I moved on from it. So
It's our process.
it's a process that everyone has differently, and
Yep.
no one is right, but it's something you yourself have to understand to know what you're doing for you, because again, it's all about you. If you're not okay with something, you have to address it. And if you're okay with it, you should want that feeling all the time. You should be okay all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, forgiveness and everything else in life is a self internal growth, learning path from your past to your future to your present. Try to be more in the present than the past. But yeah, girl.
And I also want to bring it back to, not bring it back, but
To the
bring up.
movie.
Mhm.
I
Stop
actually
talking
have
about
a
the movie.
book.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I want to bring up a book.
Oh,
You
yay,
know,
the
I gotta bring
book.
up. No, but like what I'm thinking in my mind right now is empathy.
Hmm.
And I don't think a lot of us have empathy. I don't think a lot of people are empathetic. And empathy is basically your ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
That's what I was, maybe that's not what I said, but like that's what I meant by like kind of you have not accept what they did, but kind of be like, why understanding? Why did
Right.
they do that? Why did they say that? To me, that's what empathy kind of really is.
Right. And I think if we as a people, as a society, as a world can really develop our empathy, I honestly think that's the way to solve all of our
Mhm.
problems. All of the war,
I
not all of
like
our
this.
problems.
Empathy can be a whole topic. Yay.
Well, I mean, I don't know if empathy could be a topic, but
Trust me, Ken.
empathy.
You just said you think it will solve the whole world problem.
Okay, maybe that's a little too grand of a thinking, but honestly, the reason why countries go into war with each other, now when you think about it, everybody fights for what they believe in.
Hmm.
And I believe in this because of what I know, what I've dealt with, what I've been in, and I believe in this because of my experiences. My belief is different from your belief. I'm not willing to see your point of view. You're not willing to see my point of view. And we get to a point where we butt heads and
Hmm.
wars are created, marriages are broken up, family members don't talk to each other because we cannot see
Empathize with each other.
things from the other person's point of view. But if we are able to have that empathy, empathetic
You.
Awareness.
yeah, if we know that empathy is essential,
Yeah, that's a skill, a life skill.
it's essential for dealing with people, and the only way to quote unquote have world peace and have everyone not necessarily like agreeing with each other, but understanding each other and working with each other,
Hmm.
that's how we stop all of these things. Because ultimately, we don't have to agree. We don't have to be BFFs. Ultimately, we don't have to be in each other's presence, but, but we have to.
Don't have to like everybody's presidents.
No, we don't have to have the same views, live our lives the same way, but we have to have an understanding and acknowledge that everyone has a right to live the way they want, to do the things they want, and everybody has to be taught how to forgive. Empathy and forgiveness. Boom, I said it. That's the key
Yeah,
to healing the
that's our
world.
next topic, people.
Empathy and forgiveness. If you have those two things from young, well, forgiveness we need right now. Forgiveness you need right now. Forgiveness is it to move forward. Empathy is to prevent you to get to the point where you have
But
to
you're
forgive.
right. I agree that we should be teaching our little kids empathy. And I mean, there's a lot of beautiful lessons for young kids on empathy. And it's
Mhm.
definitely a skill that should be taught at an early age.
Yes. But yeah, okay, that could be a topic.
Yeah. Instead of like,
So,
go say sorry, go say sorry. No, go teach her a little bit of empathy, you know?
mm,
That's what it should be.
so y'all ready for the book recommendation?
Yeah.
The book of the day is Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. So the book is about what we should know about the people we don't know. So it's a very interesting book that talks about
Do you read a book a day? The hell?
girl, I've read mad books and it's so funny because literally like every topic that we've discussed,
Yeah.
I
There's a book
relate back to a book. But this book is mainly it has to do with empathy, not empathy, but understanding other people's point of views. And he talks about like crazy situations. Like he talks about why are campus sexual assaults on the rise. For instance, he lays it out, you know, people getting raped on campus. Like, and some of his topics are super deep, but he breaks it down to a point that if we can learn the root cause of a lot of these disagreements, a lot of these heinous acts, we can get to a point that we can solve them better. And I've read a couple of his books, and I think this is the book where he talks about Sandra Bland. Remember when she was stopped by the cop and she ended up passing away? So he brings that up, the whole racial tension. He breaks down that interaction of her and everything she was carrying with her throughout her life, and then that cop, and what was his life, his experience like, and then how those two worlds pretty much collided during that interaction. So it's a very deep book. It's very like a lot of like case study, and it can seem a bit dry. So I recommend.
Boring.
I
book.
know. No.
Is there
it
an
can-
audio for it?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I
Okay,
recommend
perfect.
the audio version because he narrates it, which I love when the authors narrate their own books.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it can seem super dry at first, but I just promise you, just stick with it. Just stick
Cool.
with it.
Hit us with that name one more time.
He'll take you to a point that you're like, okay. He'll tie it all together.
Hit us with the title and the author's name.
Talking to Strangers, Malcolm Gladwell.
Cool.
But yeah,
What you looking at,
audio
stranger?
Strangers are always talking to me. You learn a lot about people.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, oh my God, you have to read this book. And I wish
I promise to listen.
Here's the thing, like books like this are books that kids should be reading in school.
Yeah.
And not like I don't even remember what I read.
I
when
know.
was in
that's why
school.
some of us we are so
fiction
great, and we're like
stories.
gonna open an academy that does stuff like that has book clubs and having kids do stuff like
Read.
that.
Audio read.
Claudia's like, I ain't reading no book. And okay, so in our parenting podcast, we talked about The Road Less Traveled. So I started reading it again because I'm like, I want a refresher. And
is there an audio for that one?
I don't know. Probably. I don't think it's on the library app, but it might be on Audible. But the first part of the book talks about pain and suffering. So literally the first line in the book is like, life is difficult. And it's when you learn to, the reason why people suffer is because they try to run away from the pain. But if we understand and accept that life is suffering, which is, I guess, a Buddhist like concept or whatever, right? when we accept that there is pain and there is suffering in life, not to say you expect it, but because you know that is a part of life, you're more likely to, when it comes to you,
You're prepared.
receive it
Yep.
and have the ability to work through it, as opposed to
Shutting down.
running away from pain, not trying to deal with pain.
No
That's
pain, no gain.
anxiety,
Numbing the pain.
addiction, anxiety,
yeah.
disease. It's because we run away from pain rather than understanding that it's a part of life.
Mhm.
Good and evil. Evil is a part of life. It's a part of life. So we have to forgive the evil so we can move on, or else we're the ones suffering and not the person that did us bad.
That's right.
Right.
So yeah, that was fun topic, fun conversation.
I don't know if it was fun, but it was
like
definitely
okay. That was exciting.
not exciting.
Exciting about
That was
Therapeutic.
no,
Like Claudia said, enlightening, but not
enlightening.
fun. But
Yeah.
sometimes we have to have those difficult conversations.
That was a cool topic. Sorry, guys. Just easy to forgive. It was a cool topic, right?
Yeah. For you, it's so cool because you can just forget.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
my nature. I'm a forgiving person, so
Yeah, that's who I am. Like, girl.
We all really are. Some of
Yeah,
us just more
we are.
stubborn than others. Or
If
some
you
of
wanna
us
say that.
forget. Some of
Or
us
don't
run away
forget.
from it. Yeah.
Or don't
Ain't no
forget.
running.
Some of us run away from it. Ignore it.
running.
Avoid it. Well, Nair, thanks for the book recommendation. I will definitely check
Anytime,
it out. And I
girl.
hope our listeners definitely check it out
Yes,
as well.
definitely. If you haven't read the book, I highly encourage it. Definitely a good book. Both of them, Road Less Traveled and Talking to Strangers.
And the 5 other ones that you've recommended in the past.
1 book a week, you can do it. If you're listening on audio, you can do 1 book a week.
Yeah, audio is easier, yeah.
So then you'll be prepared for the next book when you come and visit and listen to the next episode.
Nair's always gonna
It
have one
only was
for us.
that easy.
It's very easy.
Put yourself in someone's shoes before you can say before you can say it's easy, okay? A little empathy here. No.
Yes, you're right. It's not easy, but it's definitely manageable.
It's for yourself,
Time
15
management.
minutes a day, 20. Shoot,
Yes.
every day for me to get off my phone before I go to bed, Instagram is like, you've been on for an hour. I'm like, oh shoot, an hour a day, that's a lot.
You could have read.
Been listening to an audiobook for an hour.
There you go.
Little by little. So,
but I say introduce it while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're cleaning. While you're doing something that you can
I
kill 2 birds with
try
one
to do
stone.
it while I'm like kind of cleaning, but I can't. It's so loud when I clean. I clean loud.
What do you mean?
It's like click, 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 and I'm like, no, I'm not paying attention to my book. My book's supposed to be, so I always have to retreat myself and like headphones.
I think I like while I'm cooking, because even though I hate cooking, it's still very therapeutic. Cooking is therapeutic, and I'm doing something that's going to nourish my family, that's going to feed our bodies. So I look at it that way, and listening to an audiobook while I do that helps.
Cool. Sweet.
All right.
Any more pointers, takeouts?
I think we've
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Thank you for listening. Come back to us for another exciting topic, and shut up and thrive.
Don't forget to keep up with us on social media, Instagram, email us if you have any questions or want to send us any input. But thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.
Share. Peace out.